Albert Einstein once said that compound interest was the most powerful force in the universe. And you're going to need to learn how to use compound interest to grow your savings so that you can become financially independent of the market, of the economy, financially independent of everything. Now, one big challenge is that inflation is using compound interest to make the cost of living higher and higher every year. So you have to use compound interest in your favor to defeat inflation. Welcome everyone. My name is Brad Reed. I would like to encourage you to be good, and by good I mean get out of debt, achieve your financial dreams, and give generously to your community. Welcome to video number 4 of the Financial Fundamentals version 2 series. Still talking about 3 key concepts of money you can't live without. The first one was that debt is the opposite of wealth. And in this one, we'll talk about inflation and compound interest. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment only. Should you want personalized financial advice, please seek a competent individual in your area. Over all of the Financial Fundamentals videos, the basic plan is to get prepared, because in order to be prepared when the opportunities come, only then can you achieve success. And that preparedness is going to be centered on making a plan, and that plan is for your money. Just like you have a plan what you're going to do in the morning, or when you go to the grocery store, when you're going to go on vacation, you need a plan for what you're going to do with your money before that money comes. That plan is going to focus on spending less than you earn, and then the ultimate that we all are trying to achieve is to achieve retirement, and that's when you are spending less than your money grows after inflation. So as I said, Albert Einstein has the quote up there about compound interest. What it means is that the longer your money grows, the faster it grows. A lot of financial experts will tell you the number one most important thing for growing your money is time. And then if you get 10% return on investment, which is pretty much the stock market average over the long term, and that's assuming you just put it in the stock market and leave it. And again, when I say the stock market, I mean like the S&P 500, one of those broad indices, not an individual stock, okay? Broad market. But the broad market gets 10% on average over long periods of time. And if you can get 10%, an investment will double every 7 years. That means if you work really, really hard in your 20s, and you save and you scrimp and you sacrifice, and you can pile $50,000 into an IRA or some other type of retirement fund, and then just leave it and don't put anything else. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying let's look at compound interest. That $50,000 in 7 years will grow to $100,000. In 7 more years, it grows to 200. 7 years after that, it doubles again to 400. If you leave it alone and let it grow, it'll double again to 800. And folks, if at 30 years old, you put $50,000 into an account and don't do anything to it and let it grow at the stock market average of 10% year over year, by age 65, you'll be getting about $1.2 million for doing nothing other than planting that seed and letting it grow. Now, this is not doing all the strategic ins and outs that you can learn from real life trading, because you can do way better than 10%. But just to show you how fast money can grow with compound interest if you give it time. Now, I've done some talks. Oh, I wanted to mention this one. Everyone should retire a millionaire, because if you put in $4 per day, if you put $4 per day into an account, some type of brokerage account that gets 10% year over year, and you put $4 per day in every day from ages 22 to 65, at 65 years old, you'll get $1 million. That's about the cost of a Starbucks. Actually, I think that's more than a Starbucks. That's less than the cost of a cheeseburger. Okay? Put $4 per day in from ages 22 to 65, you'll have $1 million. So here is a snippet of a presentation that I've given to 2nd and 3rd graders, where I teach them about compound interest. If you take a sunflower and you plant it in the ground, 60 days later, it'll make a sunflower, and you'll have 30 more seeds. If you take those 30 seeds and plant those, 60 days later, 30 seeds will become 30 sunflowers, and you will have 900 seeds. Now, let's say I eat 100 seeds per day. After 9 days, they're all gone, and I got nothing, and I'm hungry again the next day. But what if instead I delayed that gratification and I planted 900 seeds? Now 900 seeds make 900 sunflowers, which make 27,000 seeds in 60 days. Now, if I eat 100 seeds per day, I can eat 6,000 seeds in 60 days. And if I plant the rest, I'm going to get 630,000 seeds. So obviously what you're seeing is that the sunflowers, these seeds are growing faster than I can eat them. That's what retirement is. Retirement is when your investments are growing faster than your expenses. Now, you need to have a large amount of retirement savings because sometimes the soil isn't as good as other places, and sometimes the weather isn't as good as other times. So there are variations, and of course the second and third graders help me understand all this. But not every sunflower is going to have 30 seeds, and it's not always going to take 60 days. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's more seeds, sometimes it's less seeds. There's variability. I'm sure everyone's familiar with variability in the markets. So if you have a big enough account and it grows at a big enough rate, and big enough can be whatever's big enough for you, and you can weather the financial storms, you will have used compound interest to achieve financial independence. Now, the challenge is on this example, I say if you eat 100 seeds per day, inflation means the cost of your living goes up every single year. So I believe this McDonald's menu was from the 1970s, but notice a cheeseburger is 33 cents, a small Coca-Cola is 15 cents, a coffee is 15 cents, milk is 20 cents, French fries is 26 cents, or a large order fries is 46 cents. Folks, the reason that at one point in our life, cheeseburgers and French fries and sodas were much less expensive than they are now has to do with inflation. Inflation raises the cost of living every single year. Here's a comparison of 1970 to 2017. And you can see a new house went from 23,000 to 318,000. A new car went from 3,000 to 33,000. And you can see how the rest of the things increased in price. Of course, this has to do with where you are living, what kind of house, what kind of car you're buying. Are you getting fresh milk, or are you getting grass-fed, organic, whatever it is? So there are variabilities, but the one thing I want you to take away from this is that I guess this is a 47-year period. In a 47-year period, you see how things increased in price. What's going to happen in the next 47 years? Okay, I'm 46 years old. So in 47 years, I am going to be 93 years old. And yeah, a new house may be like a basic 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house might be $3 million. What is the equivalent of like a Toyota Camry today? That might be 3 million. Shocking, right? No one's ever thought about the price of living going up that much. I've got some spreadsheets for you. Here's another example. Folks, I honestly believe that inflation is the most dangerous thing you do not understand. The reason so many of our senior citizens are living in poverty is because things might have been borderline okay when they started retirement, but they did not plan for inflation to increase the cost of their living during retirement. Inflation means the cost of things that we need go up every year, like food, clothes, transportation, housing. Of course, the things that we want, our lifestyle goes up every single year. You need to understand, or at least guesstimate, what the cost of living is going to be when you retire. And of course, at the end of your retirement, folks, at 4% inflation, cost of living will triple in a 30-year retirement. The cost of living will triple in a 30-year time frame. Now, on the slide here next to bullet point number 4, I say the average inflation. The reason I use 4% is if you look over the long term, the mathematical average is 3%. But if you take groups of years and you average that inflation, and then you average the averages, that comes to 4%. That is the number that I think is most useful if you are predicting and anticipating what may happen in the future. So sorry for using 2017. I know that's a few years back, but that is the most thorough information that I could find quickly on the internet. The typical cost of living was $55,000 in the year 2017. Now that's going to differ if you're living in a small town in Montana or if you're living in downtown Manhattan. So consider what the cost of living is where you are and what you want it to be. Maybe you need to move to one of these other places. But if the cost of living is $55,000, in 18 years that'll become $110,000. In the year 2053, let's see, I think that's when I will be 79 years old. The cost of living will be $220,000. Okay, so from today, from when I'm 79, the cost of living is going to go up 4 times. So think about whatever cost $10,000 today is going to cost $40,000. That cheeseburger that cost, the cheeseburger meal that right now costs $7 or $8, that's going to cost about $50. No, I did that. It's going to cost about $30. Okay, cheeseburgers, fries, and a soda in 2053 is going to cost about $30. A movie ticket's going to cost about $50. And you can see the numbers down there, how it goes up. Anticipate when you think you're going to start retirement, when you think you're going to end retirement, and understand what that cost of living is going to do during your retirement. Spoiler alert, I got a spreadsheet coming up later that'll do all of the math for you. So what do you need to do next? You need to understand that debt is the opposite of wealth. So you've got to get out of debt. The reason people let you borrow money is they're using you to pay for their compound interest. You are paying for their retirement. So you need to get out of debt and focus on your own retirement, your own financial independence, your own financial future. When you start using compound interest and you start planting those trees like we saw in the slides before, that's how you're going to grow your own forest where the money grows on trees. And I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to use compound interest exponentially to multiply your wealth. Plan for inflation adjusted costs for goals like retirement, kids' college, things like that. So talk to your partner, talk to your spouse, your mentor, your whomever you're going through this with. Do you agree to get out of debt? What are you going to do? Are you going to stop buying things with a loan, that layaway plan? Are you going to stop using a credit card? Even if you have one of those zero interest credit cards, or even if you think you pay it off at the end of every month, it just takes one slip up. I've had credit card companies, quote unquote, lose my check. They say they lost my check and that's why I got interest and fees. And then I called them up and I said, well, I checked my bank and you deposited my check in time. Oh, we're sorry, Mr. Reed. We'll return all that. We'll make it right. I'm like, yeah. Folks, just don't risk it. Don't go through that hassle. Everybody knows when you go into the casinos that the house always wins. Same thing with credit cards. That's why they have the skyscraper in downtown Manhattan, because most people lose with credit cards. Just don't use your credit card. Don't buy things with a loan. And then steps 3 and 4 there, start planning on what the cost of living is going to do between now and when you retire, and from when you retire to the end of your retirement. And like I said, got spreadsheets coming up. So folks, now that you have made all these decisions, make a plan. What are you going to do? Continue watching the Financial Fundamentals version 2 videos. We got more coming. Go to reallifetrading.com, start building that compound interest skill, because Real Life Trading will teach you how to use compound interest for free. You can get free investing and trading education free at reallifetrading.com. And yeah, that's what that is the first way you're going to learn how to use compound interest. There are many more, of course. Check out winwinfinancialsolutions.com. I specialize in stopping foreclosures and eliminating unkept houses in the neighborhood. If you've got a house that's boarded up, that house tends to be a magnet for crime. Tell me about it. Let me come in there and renovate it, and that will increase the property value for everyone in your neighborhood. It'll put local men and women to work. It will generate tax revenues for the police and the local schools. It's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win all the way around. Folks, please email me, Brad Reed at winwinfinancialsolutions.com if you have any questions, or you can email me, Brad at reallifetrading.com if you have questions. Thanks for watching this video. You rock. And as always, invest on hope, not on logic. Have a good one.